Over the past 24 hours, Gavin Newsom has been the leader that we need, shutting down MAGA and calling out their lies. And that is not just about Donald Trump. Newsom has also crushed J.D. Vance, Jim Jordan, and now has set his sights on the Fox propaganda outlet, destroying the lies of Sean Hannity in a brutal takedown that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting the work that we are doing on this channel. Now, before we can get into Gavin's takedown of Hannity, we have to get a little update on the ground in Los Angeles with the most breaking news from our friends at MSNBC right here.
The nation's second largest city, a flashpoint today in both Trump's immigration crackdown and his war on the rule of law. It's where we begin today with NBC's Jacob Soboroff, who is at the site of one of the ICE raids that took place on Friday that sparked the initial protests. Can you do one thing before you brilliantly take us into this moment? Can you just rewind the tape a little bit and reset me on what has happened there over the weekend?
Yeah, of course, Nicole. And your introduction was really wonderful because I think what it sets up so perfectly is how unusual and how unprecedented the size and the scale and the scope of the immigration enforcement operations that took place in Los Angeles, starting with right here at this Home Depot in Cypress Park at 7 o'clock, 7:15, 7:30 on Friday morning, were and why they led to those protests. The big picture is Los Angeles is a so-called majority-minority city and a majority-minority state. There are more people of color that live in Los Angeles than white people at this point, and many of those people are undocumented. By some counts, 10% of the population of L.A. County, one of the largest counties, the largest county by population in the United States, is undocumented, maybe as many as 1 million people. Those people are our neighbors, our coworkers, our classmates, our friends, our parishioners, fellow parishioners in churches. They are part of the fabric of the city of Los Angeles. And not in the last many decades under Democratic nor Republican presidents, despite the fact that you had presidents with big deportation programs, Democratic and Republican, as you have so often reported, have we seen the type of immigration enforcement we saw play out on the streets of Los Angeles on Friday. And that struck fear into the heart of not just the undocumented community here, but of many U.S. citizen family members of undocumented people and many U.S. citizens who know those people, because that is removing people from this community.
This is an incredible, scary scene right now, especially as Donald Trump deploys Marines. And for moments there, we didn't even know if that was actually the case, if it was a transfer between bases, if he was actually activating them, which just goes to show how much of a stunt this is. There's no coordinated or cohesive effort to make things peaceful because they already were. They already were peaceful. That is the point that Gavin Newsom continues to make, that it is Donald Trump bringing chaos into your life. And he made this point right here. In a breaking tweet, Newsom wrote, "I was just informed Donald Trump is deploying another 2,000 Guards troops to L.A. The first 2,000, given no food or water, only approximately 300 are deployed. The rest are sitting unused in federal buildings without orders. This isn't about public safety. It's about stroking a dangerous president's ego. This is reckless, pointless, and disrespectful to our troops." There is no cohesive plan here. Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing, and MAGA doesn't even know what they're doing, attacking Gavin Newsom and trying to spin up some false narrative before we get to the lies that Hannity told that got shut down. Just take a look at Jesse Waters trying to blame Joe Biden, essentially.
You were watching all of this over the weekend, had some thoughts.
Maxine, no relation. You can't blame U.S. soldiers for the violence. They're trying to lie, just like they lied about Joe Biden. This thing started on Friday, covered it Friday night on primetime, and then it went on into Saturday, and Karen had a stand-down order for the LAPD. She didn't do anything. She let her whole city burn. They only started calling it a riot when Trump mobilized the Guard.
We're covering what up? What is even happening? These arguments are so tired and weak. I've seen people complain that there's foreign flags being waved around. Mexican flags in Los Angeles? In Los Angeles? Are you familiar with what Los Angeles was before it was part of the United States? It's just crazy. But these are the lies we see from Fox. We saw more of them from Sean Hannity. Gavin Newsom shut them down on Twitter, silencing them completely. I want to take a look. Sean Hannity wrote in a long, snarky post, "It's time for answers, Gavin Newsom. If people don't follow federal immigration laws, are they by definition an illegal immigrant? Did Joe Biden make a mistake by allowing 10 to 20 million unvetted illegal immigrants into the country? Included among them are known terrorists. Was this a mistake, yes or no? Do you believe the country should deport all illegals?" And it just continues like that. Gavin Newsom, quote tweeting and shutting down Sean Hannity, responded, "Here's my question to you, Sean. Will you continue to parrot the talking points of a president that is now threatening to arrest a governor? Will you stand by his dictatorial threats and continue to churn out his propaganda? The time to defend our democracy is now. Do the right thing, Sean." And what have we heard from Sean Hannity since then? Crickets, because he has nothing to say. Because Republicans cannot make a cohesive argument. Donald Trump is simply making a publicity stunt. He is attacking and assaulting peaceful protesters because they are standing up for their community, and he's trying to make a spectacle out of it. Even when Republicans and the conservative media do try to spin this for Trump, it just backfires. Take a listen to what Laura Ingraham had to say.
This is what you're voting for. And if Republicans lose the midterms, and a year from now, a year and a half from now, this is going to start blowing up everywhere. And House Democrats will begin nonstop investigations into Trump world. And if Hakeem Jeffries is Speaker of the House, he'll encourage more of this stuff with his pronouncements about Trump the dictator.
Investigations into Trump for his crimes, for his authoritarian actions? Yeah, that sounds great. Are you trying to make a case against Democrats, Laura? I think this sounds fantastic. Bring it on. Can that start today? Can Hakeem Jeffries be Speaker of the House now? MAGA doesn't know what they're doing. They are completely in shambles, and that is the reason we need Democrats hitting back right now. And I have seen a lot of y'all's comments asking, where are Democrats in Congress? And we haven't seen that much from them, unfortunately, because they're out of session. But we have seen plenty of Democrats who are superstars in our party speak up. Jim McGovern and Chris Murphy did. I want to check out what they're saying in these clips right here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And since you brought up the situation in L.A., I feel I have to comment. First of all, let me be clear. The president is escalating this situation. This isn't just a disagreement about the right course of action or the appropriate way to enforce immigration laws. Hell, President Obama deported far more people than Trump, those with criminal records, and he did it responsibly and lawfully. He didn't need to call in the National Guard. And guess what? Trump didn't need to either. In fact, the governor didn't even ask for the National Guard to be called in. And I'm looking back at a quote from Donald Trump in 2020 after January 6th, when he was asked about why didn't he call in the National Guard. He said, "We have to go by the laws. We can't move in the National Guard. I can call insurrection, but there's no reason to ever do that, even in a Portland case. We can't call in the National Guard unless we're requested by the governor." That's Donald Trump's words, but boy, he's changed his tune. Trump, and I gotta love this, Trump praised the National Guard for calming the situation. They weren't even there yet. They weren't even there yet, and he's praising them. Because this isn't about enforcing immigration laws. It's about creating a spectacle to justify his authoritarianism. This is what he wants. We learned today that Dr. Phil, yes, that Dr. Phil, was embedded with ICE agents during the raids in California. Now, are you really going to try to tell me that this isn't a White House escalated, made-for-TV spectacle? Give me a break. That's exactly what this is. This is a manufactured crisis, unnecessarily made, produced, and orchestrated by Donald Trump because he thinks it helps him politically. Constitution and simple human decency be damned. And let me be clear, those who engage in violence, anyone who engages in violence, those that harm our law enforcement should be brought to justice, period. But I support the right to peacefully protest in this country. So please, to my Republican colleagues, please, please, spare me your lectures, spare me your outrage, spare me your crocodile tears for our brave first responders. You all, and the president stand up and talk tough about supporting law enforcement. Trump said nobody's going to spit on our police officers. This is the same guy who 4 months ago pardoned people who beat police officers with pipes, baseball bats, flagpoles, and 2x4s. You all can't even bring yourselves to hang the plaque honoring law enforcement that protected you and defended this building that day, a plaque that the law requires you to hang. So until my friends condemn the pardons by President Trump of the violent criminals that assaulted our police on January 6th during an insurrection on our nation's capital, until you recognize the brave law enforcement that day, then you have no credibility to speak on the issue of violent protests against law enforcement.
So what you need to know about this crisis in California is that it is of Donald Trump's making. Anytime a protest turns violent, that's unacceptable, but California has made it clear that between local and state authorities, they have the means to be able to keep the peace. They don't need Donald Trump. They don't need the National Guard. Donald Trump is sending in the National Guard to create a conflict, not to solve a problem, but to create a problem. Because Donald Trump has always wanted to create an excuse to impose martial law, to invoke the Insurrection Act. Donald Trump has been undergoing a comprehensive campaign since he was sworn in to try to destroy our democracy, to try to undermine the rule of law. And so what you need to know about the steps that Donald Trump is taking right now is that it is not designed to try to calm a serious situation. It is designed to inflame the situation. It is designed to increase the chances for violence so that Donald Trump will have an opportunity to further destroy our democracy by invoking some kind of martial law. This is a really serious moment. I can't say for certain he's going to do it, but I want to make sure that everybody reads this situation and interprets the developments through the right prism. And the prism is pretty simple. Donald Trump is trying to make the situation worse, not better.
But it does require us talking about it. There was a CBS poll in the last week that suggested only about 30% of Americans know that there's a piece of legislation in front of the Congress that would do this much damage to the economy. So that makes sense. Donald Trump's going to distract you with a fight with Elon Musk. He's going to distract you with National Guard troops because he knows that if only 30 or 40% of the American public know that he's about to throw 15 million people off of their health care, working families, then maybe Republicans won't be under the kind of pressure that they should be under to stop it.
This is exactly the type of fight that we need right now in this moment. And of course, it is coming from two superstars in our party, and Jim McGovern and Chris Murphy. I'm going to continue to uplift their voices on this show. If you want all of the updates as they break, we're going to be covering them, of course. And if you want to support that work, because independent media now more than ever is so important, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.